Welcome back to this channel of personal development and self-empowerment to accompany you on your personal journey. Today in this segment, we're going to uncover and understand how your partner or your counterpart in a relationship copes differently with stress. Essentially, women and men cope differently with stress. So it's important for us to understand how that manifests in a relationship. So if you've been struggling with that recently and you've been finding that your partner is behaving aloof, distancing, agitated, or withdrawing, or just emotionally and mentally checking out, then this segment will hopefully help you understand them and also support them. Essentially, when a woman and man are undergoing stress, whether that's through work, stress of a relationship, or something else, they tend to communicate very differently. As it stands, alone in a relationship, men and women communicate differently. And it goes to another level when the person is stressed. So understanding how these differences in gender or sex will really help you understand and manage your reaction to your partner and also try to support them to some extent. So biologically, women and men are wired differently, and that's due to hormonally how our systems and bodies work. Both sexes tend to release cortisol and epinephrine and oxytocin when they're stressed. But the way the hormone oxytocin in particular is secreted is in different amounts in women and men. And that sort of explains this. So, because of that secretion of oxytocin, women have the need to, when they're stressed, tend to befriend other women or talk to other people around her. Versus the true flight or fight response that usually manifests in men, where they tend to shut down or bottle it up or escape the situation or fight back. There's also a well-known author, John Gray, who's also a teacher, and he's written the book Men Are From Mars and Women Are From Venus, and he teaches about the gender differences between the sexes. And he does make a few assumptions. There's some people that agree with his ideas and some people that don't. But I find his generalizations quite helpful to provide a good basis for understanding how the opposite sexes are wired differently. And some of you listening today may resonate more with the masculine, with the yang, or you may resonate more with the feminine, and vice versa. And that's also the case with same-sex relationships. You may resonate with either the yin or the yang, or the masculine or the feminine. Generally, when coping with day-to-day stress, men or the masculine have a natural tendency and a need to pull away from their partner and basically go into the caves and spend alone time to be with their own thoughts and attempt to solve their own problems. That going into the cave, that's how John Gray describes it. This behavior tends to make them feel better about himself because when he's in his cave, he's able to understand his thoughts and make sense out of the problem. Women, on the other hand, they predominantly, when experiencing stress, have the need to talk about the problem, and women get relief from talking about the problem and about the issues and their stresses. By talking about it, whether to her partner or to other women or her family members or friends, she feels better. So it's more of a relief. But let's peel this a layer further. So a man's natural tendency is to go silent or to move himself away and go into his cave. And a man won't necessarily want to talk to his partner or intuitively about what exactly he's experiencing, the problems or the issues, whether that's because of work or a problem that he's facing in his personal life and he's mulling over. So the man usually tends to think about how they're going to fix the problem before going to speak to their partner about it. And then say with men, if they don't find the resolution to the problem, then they tend to go find something to distract themselves with. And that could be, say, reading the paper, playing golf, or exercising, their hobbies, playing sport. It is to distract them or release tension. But again, not really talk about the problem. Women, on the other hand, generally when they're stressed or upset by events of the day, as I said, she finds relief in talking in detail about the problem. And I'm emphasizing in detail. And that's usually with people that she trusts and loves. And in her perception, besides getting relief out of it, when she talks about the details of the problem, she doesn't see it as a burden as men normally see it. Women tend to openly express their feelings about being stressed, overwhelmed, confused. And what's important for him to understand is when she's doing that, she's just expressing and seeking that for relief purposes, not for him to fix her problem. So by now, you could be resonating more with the feminine or the masculine part. That just depends on your biological wiring or gravitation. Okay, so say when a woman is talking to a man and like how you're experiencing, it could be that you start expressing your problems, what you're going through, or how stressed you are at work, and you'll see that he's 5% present with you in conversation. And that's because his mind is preoccupied. So say when he's under stress, he becomes unresponsive in relationships because 95% of him is still at work or he's trying in his head to solve the problem. So he basically is incapable of giving you the attention that, say, you usually get or the attention that you deserve. And to be honest, to expect a man in that situation, whether he's sitting with you or whether he's in his cave mulling over his problem, to expect from him to give you his attention is almost impossible. So that would be the equivalent of asking a woman to always be logical and rational in how she's communicating, especially when she's stressed. So also with women, you'll notice some women tend to also not just talk about their problems or their stress, but talk about colleagues' problems, families' problems, other types of problems, and really going through the detail of it. And that's again for relief purposes. So in a male context for the man, when say she's talking about her problems to him, where the man makes a mistake, and usually a cause of conflict, is sometimes men don't necessarily understand or realize that what she is seeking is just someone to lend in a listening ear and to just listen to her without interrupting and without offering solutions. Instead, in the male's perspective, the male feels that she, by talking about her problems, is making him responsible for her problems. And then he has to sit and work through how am I going to fix this for her? What advice am I going to give her? How am I going to offer options? But that's the cause of the conflict that tends to happen in communication. And also, men usually tend to feel frustrated when, say, she talks about the problems that he can't do anything about. So, for example, it could be that she's complaining, I'm stressed, I'm not getting paid enough at work, or our bank account is almost withdrawn. That could be her way of expressing what she's talking for relief purposes, but sometimes how a man interpret it is that she's saying that so that she can get a solution or advice. The other part of it is when a man doesn't understand if she's talking for relief purposes and he offers solutions, then he may feel rejected when she's just not validating or acknowledging what he's saying, because essentially she's just there to talk in more detail about the problem because she just wants to feel better. She's not looking at problem solving. Okay, so what can both counterparts do to work through each other's differences? Well, a woman, say in that context, if she's stressed or if she feels the need to talk about something, and she needs emotional support, she can ask the man directly, outright, hey, when would be a good time for me to chat with you, say for 10 minutes or so, where you give me your undivided attention and you purely listen to me, and listening without offering any solutions. So when you phrase it that way, whether it's the way I said it or another way, but basically when you're asking the person, the 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 man in the relationship for his time in that sense, that at least puts him on notice so that he's aware that you will need to offload and have him as the emotional support without him cross talking or offering solutions and just being present with you. So that way he feels prepared and he's relaxed and he's like, okay, I can listen to you. So scheduling that's helpful. So that's from the female's perspective. By the same token, for for the women, when ladies, when you see your man just being in his own zone, let him be. Especially if he's stressed, it's not really going to help if you go ask, hey, how can I help you? Do you want to talk about the problem? Because most men are not wired that way. So usually it's the case that he'll come and approach you when he needs to talk about something. So the most important thing is for women not to take that personally and not to feel that you're not important to him. Okay, so I'm just going to keep this video short. Comment below if this resonates with you. And if you would like to engage any of my dispute resolution services, feel free to contact me on my link below or check out my website in the description box. Otherwise, I wish you a beautiful day and please like